Hey House and Home, I'm Angela Wheeler and I'm thrilled to welcome you to my cottage on Balsam Lake. We are on Balsam Lake near Fenelon Falls, Ontario, and this is my family cottage that we built over the last 3 or 4 years. When we first bought it, it was very overgrown. It was a very small cottage that was in complete disrepair. We thought we could fix it up, but after some visits, we realized that that was not happening and we needed to start fresh. The property has so many beautiful trees. It was very different than any project I had worked on before, and I was immediately taken by the site. It's a small island, so the water is very accessible all around. We had recently traveled, before we started this project, to the Alps, so we were really inspired by all wood buildings, completely clad in wood inside and out, by some of the wood detailing, stair rails. So we really wanted to capture that look here and have something completely different than we had ever built before. I designed the structure itself aesthetically. We worked with a draftsperson and a local builder to turn it into actual building plans. Because this cottage has neither air conditioning or central heat, we felt like it was a place that we could do something a little bit different. You know, if we were heating it and cooling it, we'd want to build a more compact structure just to be efficient. So we did something a little bit more sprawling than we typically would. So it's quite spread out and it's loosely kind of certain pods. So we've got at one end the kitchen pod, and then in the center we've got the living room pod, which has the primary bedroom above. And then at the end we've got the bedroom pods. Because, you know, it's always an iterative process to make the inside and the outside work well, we needed certain massing on the outside. So some of the rooms ended up the size they were so that the exterior flowed as well. So the mudroom is quite generous. We wanted a place where families, guests, and ourselves could come in and just sort of drop whatever you've brought. So there is quite a bit of space to do that. And then there's also 2 large armoires. So in those we have sunscreen and towels and hats and some tools and just a place for all those things to live. I wanted a kitchen that was its own room as opposed to a dual purpose open concept. We wanted the kitchen to be all wood for durability reasons and just to give the space a lot of character. It goes back to the cottages that I grew up going to where there was a lot of wood everywhere. The rest of the cottage is done in pine, but pine being a bit of a softer wood, it wouldn't work well or it wouldn't age as well for the kitchen cabinets, just the wear and tear on them. So ash is a wood that has similar coloring. So we decided to go with that so that the whole space flowed with pine and ash in the same space, but having the durability in the cabinets. The drawers have lots of custom inserts. There's a place for everything. Utensils have divided areas so that everything has its own space, easy to find. And we've got quartz countertops for durability. A generous island, no stools because we have the banquette adjacent to the kitchen. It's got the 2 shelves to have a lot of storage area. A lot of the dishes are kept there and in an open shelf that we have so that people who aren't here all the time can find what they're looking for, can help put things away. So the island is really a workhorse that can store a lot of items. There's some detailing on the pantry area. That's where all the food is kept and the coffee bar is, the electric range, and we've got a generous sink, also a dishwasher, which is a luxury at a cottage. The space just feels big enough to have all of those elements, but still a really efficient space to work in with multiple people. We do have the dining banquette off of the kitchen. It was really necessary to keep that banquette quite small before it becomes a room. So we wanted it to feel like a nook. So it's only 7 feet deep by about 16 feet long. And you do have to kind of get yourself around the table, but when you're in there with a group of people, it feels very cozy, it feels really good. That space is used for meals. It's also used for crafting. It's used also for napping. There's 16 feet of banquette there, so you can lay out there. A lot of the kids read books there, and the ceiling is lower than the rest of the kitchen. With the windows that open, the breeze coming through, it just feels like a really good space. The living room is a generous space where we can have lots of people. We have a family of 6, so if you have friends over, we could easily be 10, 12 people in there. There's a low table where we're often playing games. There's a wood-burning fireplace in the corner, a very Scandinavian style fireplace. which in the shoulder seasons, it feels great to be in that room and have that radiant heat. We also have a generous window that looks to the east, so the sun is coming in most of the day there. There's 10-foot ceilings and the exposed rafters. It's got minimal lighting, it's got a few sconces. At night, the lighting is very gentle and sets a very relaxed mood. We went with some jewel-toned fabrics on the sofa. They're very durable, those fabrics, because it is a cottage, but it's also got some deep colors. There's not a lot of white in the cottage, there's a lot of wood and darker colors. Opposite the large window in the living room on the west side, we enter the screen porch that we can open up and have a beautiful breeze. The view is beautiful, the sound is amazing of the waves hitting the island. There's some old bed frames that we found here at the cottage. Like a lot of the other pieces, they're items that we found in the original cottage and kept them. I think the mattresses say Eaton's on them. Added some pillows and a little sofa, and the rattan chair is also something that we found here. So it's got a lot of character. And that's another space to take a nap, another space to play games, to have some snacks, even sleep at night. Some of the kids, like if it's a really warm night, can sleep there and have the breeze coming through, and it just feels really good there. From the living room, you can access the primary bedroom. So up there we've got a large space with a slope ceiling. It slopes quite low, but the king-size bed does fit under the eave, and then a space for a sitting area. We also have a really small two-piece bathroom, just for convenience, to not have to come down the stairs in the night. Because of the staircase and the primary bedroom being over top of the living room, we get a lot of heat coming up the stairs, and it feels very cozy up in that space. When we go beyond the living room, we get to the main bathroom. In that space, we've got a tub shower, a generous vanity. Often that room has many kids in at the same time, all getting ready for bed, so it's nice to have a little bit of extra space there. When we go past there, we've got our utility room, which we have washer and dryer, which is amazing. We've got a space to store tools, all the odds and sods that we can tuck away. And either side of the utility room, we've got bedrooms. So on one side, the bunk room, 2 built-in bunks, so we've got 4 beds there. We've got a generous cathedral ceiling with a little nook above that has space for another bed for some older kids. And then when we go to the other side of the utility room, we've got the guest rooms with a king-size bed, a little bit of storage, and some beautiful views of the trees out to the front of the cottage. This cottage is situated on an island in Balsam Lake. When we're coming as a family, we have mostly what we need here, except bags full of groceries, but we try not to bring anything that we don't really need here, because either it stays here or we then have to do it all in reverse. I like it clean and minimal. I do have 4 kids, so we have to be realistic about that. We found a lot of treasures in the existing cottage, so a lot of the decorations and small items, vases and dishes, were really special items that when I went through all of the items that were already here, I chose some really special ones to keep. But we're very particular and careful about what we bring over here, because it's likely going to be here for a long time. I'm over the moon about how it ended up. I love the feeling of this space. I love the decision we made to make everything wood. When we walk into this cottage, it just feels so completely different than home. It feels unique, it feels cozy, it feels natural. I'm very happy with it.